Good morning. How's my people? Where's my people? This is where I'm at, if you guys were wondering. Sunshine state of mind. Hello, everybody. Sarah Richardson here. Cheerleader for the divine. Good morning. Got my little copper. I swear, if you guys feel crazy energy, go get some copper. It's dope. It helps. I just take this thing and rub it. All right, guys. So who dares to change something about them that they do not like? We can't change anything in the world except for our own selves, right? And we attract that of what we vibrate, right? So if you're bringing some shit into your world that you don't like, you're vibrating that somewhere inside of you. Pop, cheers. Hello, Jason. Thriving over here. Thank you, my friend. So if you guys check me out, I'm doing a 30-day detox and I feel fucking incredible. Incredible. I teach you guys about the relationships of the vibrations in you, right? And so your gut is directly related with your mind, right? And so when you fix up your gut, then that clears up your mind. It's super dope how this stuff works. I manifested Jason into my life. I've been working on my gut for a really long time. And, you know, I sent something out to the universe and boom, something came right back in. Guys, manifestation moves mountains. So when we're trying to figure out stuff like with our logical brain, that's a lot, right? If you go inside of you and you start changing things inside of you, then the things that are coming to you start to change. I'm telling you guys, I'm the best deliberate creator alive. I'm telling you. But it's in you. Good morning, love. Things must change inside of you. It's an inside process. Jason just did a video about detoxing and it was huge. And you can detox on every single level in your life. You can detox your work. You can detox your money. You can detox your sex. You can detox your body. You can detox your mind. You can detox from the TV. You can detox from food. All kind of things. Hello, beautiful. Intentions are everything. Intentions are huge. Keeping your intentions clear is a huge thing, right? And so what does that mean? You know, a lot of times we intend for something, we want something, so we intend for it, right? But then something triggers an old feeling and then our intentions can change sometimes, right? That's why I do a lot of this work on my gut so my intentions can stay clear. And working on your intentions is like a workout. It's not just like as soon as you start working on intentions, then you just got this shit down packed, right? Working on your intentions is like going to the gym. You know, you're going to keep working them out. You're going to keep getting more specific. You're going to keep going more with, okay, so you were intending this, that didn't work. Let's go a little bit more with what I want, right? What triggers you? You know, with all these things that are going on out here, you can find it everywhere. What is triggering you? Where are you running into things that are triggering you? Where are these things? To each of us, that's so different, right? My triggers were way different than a lot of my friends. Yours are a lot different than mine. They're specific to you. They're specific to your guts, right? you got to go in to change yourself. You got to go into yourself. And when you go into yourself to change things, sometimes you have to block the outside things out for a little bit, right? And so, you know, change can hurt sometimes because sometimes you're not going to be rolling with the same people. Sometimes you might have to switch your job. Sometimes you might give up something that you love for a little bit to detox it out of your system, right? Bullies trigger me because of childhood trauma. I feel it. Bullies used to trigger the fuck out of me too. And you know, I didn't really handle it right. I'm like, oh yeah, bully, I'm going to hit you in the head with a cinder block. Well, guess what? You can't do that. It's illegal. And so, Sharon, I know you do it, but, you know, for the bully, you got to go into yourself, with yourself, and you got to see where that is in you, where that is for you. Where did that happen to you? Where, you know, why does that trigger you so much? Why does that bother you so much? Because now, as I've been going inside of me, the bully really doesn't bother me as much. I mean, it still bothers me, but now I handle it a lot different. I talk to the people instead of get so mad that I, you know, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. I was using my power in the wrong way with the bully, right? And so this is what can happen. So I'm glad Sharon brought that up. You know, we're really powerful beings and we have the power to make a lot of changes in our lives. But if we're using our power the wrong way, you'll know because you'll be tired. You know, you'll be exhausted. Like when these triggers come in, if you're not tuning into the power in you, you're going to be exhausted instead of like pumped up, right? I love you, Jesus. You know, today is the throat chakra. I love you too. What are you speaking into your life? What words, you know, I just had a great talk with a great girl today and she's like, words are spells. And I'm like, you got that right. But, you know, it's not anything to be like afraid of, right? It's just like, what are you speaking into your life? Are you speaking the things you want into your life? Or are you speaking the things that hurt you and are you angry about that, right? And so that's the thing. And that's where, like, daring to change. Do you dare to change the words that you say to things, to yourself? You know, you don't even have to say it to other people. Do you dare to change the words that you say to your own self? You know, always think up for me, you know, it was changing my words. Yes, stepdad trauma. So now I talk to my inner child and let her know we are safe and kindness is best. Thank you for your work. Yeah. Kindness and compassion come up in this. And just like Sharon was talking about, you can only get that through you. Hi, love. You know, guys, the clearer that we come with our intentions, the faster things come in. But you have to clear up your whole entire energy body. Your whole entire energy body needs to detox from the old patterns, right? And so starting at the root chakra, the programming, the cultural programming, the social programming, you know, into the sacral chakra, into the solar plexus, our whole entire bodies need a detox, right? And that's what, you know, when I talk to my clients and when I hear people all over the place, I'm like, fuck, man, we just need to detox all this shit out of us, right? But the more in tune that you become with your feelings, then that clears up your intention space. And so if you're on my video right now and you feel like you just can't really get a clear intention of what you want in your life or what you're trying to create for your life, go into your feelings. See why. Because your feelings and your intentions are in a direct relationship with one another. So if you can't get it in the intentions, then go into the feelings. If you can't get it in the feelings, then look in the intentions. If you make a wish for yourself in your intentions, see what that feels like to you. Do you feel like you can do it or do you feel like you can't do it? Good morning. Grabbing my coffee and watching you is a great way to start my day. Yeah, I don't have coffee in my life, right? This is herbal tea. I've been detoxing like a mug out here. Change is here, guys. And yes, it hurts. And yes, it leaves you sore and tired, and people change, and work changes, and things change, and that's okay. And it does hurt. Change, expansion, it's different, right? It's not your normal. I don't believe in out of the blue. I don't believe, hello, James. I don't believe in things come out of the blue. I believe that there is a divine design. I believe that there is divine law, divine order on the planet. It's not something that's like written down. Well, yeah, it is written down, right? But you can see it in your life. You can see it working in your life. You know, it is when something comes up out of the blue, that's something that you manifested from before. I'm telling you, if you have something come up in your life and you're like, whoa, that shit's out of the blue and I love it. Think back to a time where you intended that for your life, right? I'm telling you guys, I know it is crazy out here, but guess what? The good news is that there's always good news, right? But if you're caught up in your fears and your feelings and all those old yucky, cucky, doo-doo feelings, then that to you sounds crazy. I know. I've been working on my feelings for a long time. Stuff happens, boom. Yeah, stuff does happen, but we're talking about change and daring to make a change and being the change in your life, being the change that you wish to see in your life. So when I talk to a lot of people, they're wanting other people to change. Well, so-and-so is this way, or so-and-so is that way, or so-and-so does this. The only thing that we can change and the only thing that we can do is us. You know, I can't, as much as I wish that the whole entire world would detox with me, would write their dreams out, would spend time with themselves, would stretch their bodies with me, talk to strangers with me, I can't make anybody do anything. So I just change me. I just do me. I just do me and I share the shit out of that shit, right? And some people I inspire and some people I get on their fucking nerves and I don't care. Sister, we have to. Yes, right. 100, right? You know, I do this meditation. You guys want to meditate real quick? Does anybody want to meditate? I'll show you a meditation I do real quick when it comes to this. Does anybody want to do it? Close your eyes. Take a breath. Drop your shoulders. Imagine blue light coming down all over you, right? Imagine you have a sword, right? So in this meditation, you get a sword. Now that's the thing, right? When people are meditating, they're like, well, where did the sword come from? Who gives a fuck? You have a sword. Get the sword. Put it up in the air. Wave it through the air, right? Do a symbol. Your favorite symbol. You can write your name. You can just turn it in a circle. You can do whatever you want, right? And imagine when you're doing that some surprising news is about to come down for you, right? Okay, so in this space, let the surprising news come down into you and write it down. What is the surprising news? Okay, and now I want you to take it a step deeper. Whenever you get the surprising news and you write it down, right? Do you believe that you can do it? Or do you have fear and all kind of shit with it? Because sometimes, you know, a lot of people think that they want surprises, but then they can get a surprise and then they're like, oh, I can't get that. I really can't have that. I really can't have the best thing that's for me. Yeah, you can. You are your own resistance. You are the one getting in your way. Nobody out here is getting in your way. You're getting in your way. Nobody out here is stopping you. You're stopping you. You can change. I change. I have been changing ever since I knew I could change. I just keep changing and changing and changing. People are like, you're different. I'm changing. If you don't like it, peace out. I love you. Shall one change for another? It's not true. They're just doing it to shut another up. And it's not true change when you change for another. People need people to change to feel whole, and that's not the answer. Fuck yes, sis. And there are a lot of people out here changing for another. And I have to tell you guys that that's something that I was never able to do. It had to be about me, for me. That was it. And so if you're making changes for other people, then just like Jesus was saying, when you get down the line with it, you're like, well, I changed all these things for you. They don't care, right? When you say that, they don't care when you say that. Well, that's because you make the changes for you. And so then whenever you get to the end of the story or whatever, and you're like, I made these changes for me. And sometimes when you're making these changes, that person that wanted you to change might fall out of your place. You know, if somebody wants you to change something about you and you ain't ready to change it, let them go. Can you let them go? Can you dare to change to let them go? Can you let them go? Can you let it go? If you have a job that's not changing, can you let it go? If you have family members that aren't changing, can you try to let that dynamic go? If you have a spouse that's not changing and things aren't, or maybe you feel stuck, can you dare to change yourself and let that go? I know. Yes, they don't care. It was all a front. And it's funny because they don't care because they didn't feel the inspiration that you felt to change, right? And so if you're getting these inspirations like, hey, I need to work out a little bit more. Hey, I need to eat a little bit better. Hey, I need to stretch my body a little bit more, right? That's your divine inspiration. You got that. They didn't get that divine inspiration, and they might be comfortably uncomfortable. You might see that they're uncomfortable, and that's hard when you have a big heart, right? But if you're getting this divine inspiration to change and they still want to be comfortably uncomfortable, there's a way to say, hey, look, I got to change. I see that you're fine where you're at. I love you. I got to keep it moving, right? No, but people want to start these big, huge fights and be blowing up and fucking punching people out and shit. All you have to do is just be like, I'm done. I'm changing. Lots of letting go. I'm so excited to get a yoga mat and some yoga wheels. Ready to stretch it out. Yeah, I love you. I love you. I got a yoga mat and I never use it. I love you. I do have our foam roller and I use it all the fucking time because that's like my massage therapist when I come home from my work. But yeah, guys, stretch, man. You know, this is a really crazy time. And what's going on is the energy is moving through our bodies. And if we're not moving, you know, she just did her video the other night and she was just saying how, you know, she was working so hard on this and that and the other and she was forgetting to stretch her body. And guys, I'm telling you, it can happen. It can happen to the best of us. It happens to me. You know, like I literally have to stretch my body. And sometimes I'm like, give me like 5 more minutes. I'll do it tomorrow. And then I feel like shit. My back is hurting, and yes, I originally wanted the foam roller, but then I saw the wheel, so I got those instead. Yeah, girl, I'm sure you'll love it. I am a minimalist, so I don't know. You know, if all that stuff is gonna make you stretch, then heaven, do it. Yes, it is crazy times. And you know, if you're speaking what you don't want, I'm going to keep saying this. If you're speaking what you don't want, that is in your sacral chakra, right? And so, guys, our wombs have taken a hit. To my women, to my men, guys, women and men both have womb spaces. And the woman, it's the yoni, and the man, it's the hara. And it has taken a fucking hit. Sex space, money space, feeling space, emotion space. That is the space. And not only that, but that is your creative space. Your sexual energy is your creative energy. And we have taken a fucking hit in our womb. Thank you, Jesus. Jesus was talking about it last night, man. She had me crying. And that's what you need. You need to feel like when people are talking about things and they're opening up about things or you're opening, feel it and cry because, guys, this has everything to do with your children. This has everything to do with your sex. This has everything to do with your grandchildren. This has everything to do with your ancestors. The womb space is where we're all connected. The womb space is where all your inner children are, where all the tucked down feelings are, right? The place where, like, we can be so positive and yes, 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 and I want to manifest this, and I'm speaking this good stuff, and I'm being good, and I'm saying good things, and I'm doing all this stuff, right? But if you have inner feelings in there that are nasty, if whenever the camera goes off or the picture isn't on or nobody's around, you are mean, that's where that place is. Very hard hit. I love you too, girl. Been super in my feels this week. Well, yeah, the new moon will bring that up for people. You know, I'm a lot different than most people. I get a new moon and I throw everything away in my house. I didn't even know that the new moon was coming, but I knew because I just started throwing shit away, like everything. It's out, it's out, it's out, it's out. Guys, I detox my body and I detox my fucking home all the time. My daughter's like, Mom, where's my thing? Did you throw it away? I'm like, I don't know. I might have. I might have. We don't need all that stuff. Yes, has everything to do with your mental health. Number one, everything head first. Yes, the sex space has everything to do with the mental health, guys. And I'm going to tell you some personal stuff about me, right? So, you know, I was trying to be so positive out here, but there was this undertone of anger, right? And my family got my anger, and my baby got my anger. And it hurt my feelings because I'm out here with you guys and I'm being positive and I had this thing going, right? And here I am giving the people that I love all this anger in me, right? And I didn't know what it was. Like, I had no idea what it was. I'm like, I have a good life. I manifest everything I want. I'm healthy. I'm healed. You know, my job, my life is good. Like, I don't know what this nasty is that comes up in me sometimes, right? And it would be like the strangest things. I couldn't even really explain it or anything. And then I started doing inner child work and I ended up finding out that I was molested whenever I was a little girl. And I disassociated from the trauma, which means I did not remember. And so I just tucked that down inside of me. And then in all kind of different reactions, it would come out and it would show out. And I heard a lot of people with that anger and that frustration in me. And so, you know, sometimes, guys, the feelings and the anger and the frustration, those can be things that you don't know where it's coming from because maybe it traumatized you and you disassociated from it. But all I'm saying is if anger and nasty is coming up, just trust that that is your body trying to tell you that there's something in you that needs out. It needs out. And there are amazing people out here right now that are helping people to get these things out and heal themselves. You know, and it's only by going into me and going into that place and revisiting that nasty time in my life that I really understood kindness and compassion, that I really like for the things that trigger me, right? So we can be kind and we can be compassionate about all these things, right? But when it comes to the triggers, we're not very kind and we're not very compassionate about those things. And we don't know why, because it's tucked pain, right? But the triggers are showing you. And so, you know, it's a very vulnerable space to go in there. It's very, you know, when you're discovering trauma that you might have been disassociated with for a lot of years, that's a very vulnerable space to be. You want to make sure you trust who you're working with. You want to make sure you know, feel comfortable and feel okay to be able to go do this, because the work alone is hard, right? But in that, you know, I used to hate men. And it's crazy because she just was talking about this last night and I was just crying and crying and crying and crying. I used to hate men. I was hating men and I was building these relationships and I was having sex and I was doing all this stuff and I hated men. I hated men to get close to me. I wouldn't let a man get close to me. I would have sex and be like, all right, it's time to go. And I didn't understand where that came from. I'm such a love bug. Why do I do this? What is this, right? I hated men. I hated addiction. I hated drugs. I didn't know where this all was coming from. But I'll tell you what, by going into me and finding this place in me, I have a lot more kindness and compassion for men, for drugs, for sexual assault, for the people who are afraid to be touched, for the, I get it a lot more. I even get the person that hurt me has been hurt before. Hurt people hurt people. Go ahead, boo. Wish I wasn't so freaking busy. I want to listen. Paisley is one of my phone. We've been through some shit, guys, and we have to learn how to rest and relax. And that's what that was doing for me. Instead of resting and relaxing into my life and into the things that I was creating, I was running from myself. I was running from my feelings. And then the universe would spiral something into my life, and then it would trigger me, and then I would run. Do you dare to change? Had some weird dreams the other night about my dad's family. I remember her being in control of the parachute, and I was yelling, "Don't fuck this up for me." I thought I was good with it and at peace, but I guess I needed to be shown that she's not in control of me anymore, and she's not running the show. I am. I claim peace. I can't blame others anymore. I'm responsible for my life and my feelings, and I choose when to pull the parachute in my life, and that's what I got out of it anyways. Well, that's pretty dope, girl, because we have to take control. Do you dare to change? If you don't have the control in your life, do you dare to take that control in your life? Yes, releasing anger towards men from traumatic experience of rape, physical abuse, verbal abuse, domestic violence, hurt men, hurt females, from daughters to lovers, etc. Oh, Jesus. Releasing the anger. And that's what it was, guys. I did a HQQT session with Q Reeves. He's amazing. If you don't know him, go check him out. And this was a few years ago, right? And this was long before I knew about this in me, right? And he took me into this place, and you go in, just like inner child work, you're there. It's not someone telling you what's happening in you. It's like, it's happening in you, right? And it was this very angry woman and this very angry man, and they were so tired of being angry, they just didn't know how to not be angry anymore. And that's what I feel. That's what I felt. And even then, I didn't relate that to anything in my life. Writing and burning it can help one free yourself. Absolutely. Absolutely. And guys, this anger, this violence, the rape, the physical abuse, the verbal abuse, the domestic violence, the violence, this is what we're coming from. And if you want to get real and you have kids and this is affecting your kids. I posted a post yesterday about, we're parenting from the trauma within us. And then here comes Jesus with her video yesterday. I shared it last night. Guys, I'm telling you, this is in all of us. You can be as positive or make as much money or, seem like you have it all together. But this anger, it's in us. If it's in you, it's in you. The anger is for real. And what it's doing is it's taken over control. It's making you treat people the way you don't really want to treat people. It's a fear mechanism. It's trying to protect you. We're used to protecting ourselves against that. And we don't have to do that anymore, but we have to go in. Just learned about burning what you write to heal, shed, and release. Yeah, I love you, girl. I've been teaching that to people for a long time. And, the burn-in thing can go with so many people because, say you have a situation in your life, right, with somebody and you just can't talk to them. you can't get a conversation with them, right? That's one of the best ways to like write out all your heart's intentions and burn it up. And then watch what happens. You know, my clients, they come back to me like, holy shit, you're a witch. And I'm like, no, we're all witches, bitches. You got to get this stuff out of you. You cannot carry it anymore. And sometimes writing it and burning it is the only thing that somebody has to feel safe, to be vulnerable. Thank you for sharing. That was deep, even for me. It made me cry watching it back. It made me cry watching it back, too. And I know that was deep for you, Jesus. And that's how I know that it's changing out here. You know, it's really, really changing. And that doesn't mean that you're any different than you are. And, like, tell me, you know, how do you feel today from letting that go? Because, like, that's what I've been doing. I never knew how to be vulnerable, guys. I never knew how to say, I need help. I need this. I need that. I'm feeling this. This is hurting my feelings. You know, I never knew how to say that. My thing was like, I'm good. See you later. And then I would go from good to mad. And then mad to fuck it. And then fuck it to leave it alone, right? I was not good at vulnerability. But the more I keep going in with myself and my feelings and my womb space and my inner child and the better I keep getting. A little better today than yesterday and the day before. Yeah, and then sometimes you could be like doing like better, and it could go down. And that's okay. All over the place. Yeah. Write that. I'm good. I know you're good. And you know, it feels good to say, like, I'm not perfect. I didn't do this perfect. Everything isn't perfect over here. You know, a lot of people watch us online and you guys think that we have these perfect lives. Well, guess what, guys? We're just working through shit. Just like everybody else. I have burnt a lot of shit. It's breathtaking. Yeah. You know, I started, like, with my bills and stuff. A lot of years ago, I was getting all these bills that I couldn't stand, and it was making me feel like I couldn't breathe, and I was like, you know what? I'm burning these bitches. Burning them. And then I started doing it with all kind of different shit. That's how I started fucking with it. Really, that's what I'm encouraged by your comment. Yeah. She's this, you know, you don't even know what you did for the planet last night, I don't think. You know, with all the people that watch you and with you finally being able to say that and get so vulnerable out there, you know, there was like, I don't know, 50 people on your live last night when you did that. And that helped. That changes the world, man. Compassion and kindness come from within you. And so if you're having anger come up or if you're having things flare up in your life, you have to go in. If you don't have anyone to talk to, write it down and burn it. Life is like a stock market. Up and down, invest and balance. Life is like a stock market. I mean, I don't know much about the stock market. I'm pretty, I'm lucky I can work my phone. And turn on a live video. Yeah, it's about being real. No one's perfect. But we're all divine. Yeah. And even in your anger, you're divine. And even when you're fucking up, you're divine. And this is what I say to everybody all the time. And they don't think that it's real. Everything is all divine. Deep with hundreds watching. Facebook numbers not sufficient. Sis, you were fucking changing the world. In just that moment, you know? And I love that you were on there and you were being tough and you said that you need to come back and pull it back together and get soft. And, you know, the tough does help and people need it and they need to hear it. But, man, that fucking softness, that vulnerability is penetrating. I mean, you know, I was seriously over here crying like fucking... like it was me, because I resonate with it so much. You know, there are times everybody thinks that I'm this super perfect mom. You know, True gets my feelings. She gets me when I'm in my triggers. She gets me when I am scared about my money, or, you know, she gets me at my worst, and I know better. And so then, you know, even lately, she's been saying to me, like, if she's getting me, like, at my worst, she's like, Mom, you were mean. Mom, that was really mean. And so I sit with her and I say, I know. And Mommy's still learning, and you're incredible. And I swear I'm going to go back again, Jesus, too, because you were dropping nuggets for how you talk to your kids and how you are bringing out the best of them, even though you're in a healing space. And I need to write more of that down. I went back and listened to it when I was falling asleep, but you're doing the work, sis. And this is what it's about, right? We can't watch these videos and feel high and keep going and doing the same thing. We can't try to take energy and keep going. Speaking affirmations. Yeah. Straight to the DNA. Tough love. Yeah, but it's not tough love. You know, this, what I'm talking about, this anger that comes up, it's my anger. It's my anger that my baby gets. Yes, last night was powerful. Out of nowhere, my throat chakra said, you're not done. I said, oh, yeah. Your video had me in tears too. Like, literally couldn't breathe. You know, if you trip still, guys, you gotta find out why, you know, and it's crazy because I wrote my message last night before Jesus did her message, but then she came on and there was something about me that said I have to watch Jesus' message, and it's super crazy because it really goes along with what I'm trying to say here, but I needed to get vulnerable with Jesus for a little bit before I came on and did this because I needed to understand what I was talking about. And it's like, you know, if you're still out here tripping on your kids, and if you're still out here tripping on your family or tripping whenever people don't see you and you're being positive online, that's fake. And you have to change, and it's not really fake because, you know, I faked it. I faked it good. I faked all my positive so good, but it wasn't fake though, because there's layers to it, right? And so like I would try to learn a little bit, and like the positivity was changing my life, but then like these triggers would come up and I didn't really realize what that was. Chaz. Yeah. Was Chaz there last night? Thank you for your time watching and receiving. Yeah, I girl, that shit was to my heart, man. And to all the mothers worldwide. You know, if you're a mom, go to the video I just shared of Jesus, because, you know, these are the things that moms hold in. These, you know, moms are so overwhelmed and they have so much going on. And there's so much, and they're afraid to ask for help, and they're afraid nobody cares. And this anger is just coming out, and it's going to your kids, and then you feel terrible, and then you try to make up for it, and then the kids remember, and then, you know, we give that all to our kids. Yes, there's so many layers. And, you know, when you really are doing the work, right, you will do what Jesus did. You know, like last night her son came into the room and she was just like, look, thank you, thank you for still loving me. Basically, I'm mean, and thank you. And that right there is like, it doesn't fix anything that you did, but it does though, because you're talking to your kid and you're telling your kid, like, listen, the womb has taken a hit. You know, our kids can only take it for like what age they are. So like True is 5. So she's not really going to understand all of that. So I have to say that like on a 5-year-old level when I'm tripping. You know, but these moms, man, I was at the Wizard the other day and there was this old guy there and he was like, you know, people have to the mother has gotten so far away from her, you know, because she had to be strong, because all the meanness, because all the trauma. And he was basically saying that like this is not going to end until we as mothers can get in touch with ourselves. Us as people can get in tune with the mother and how the mother wants to raise her baby. I love Chas. Sending love to the mothers. It's big. It's big. It's big. And, I'm not a perfect mom out here. I try really hard to bring my feelings into raising my child, to ask her about her feelings. We went through all this stuff with school. Jesus was a huge encouragement for the way that I school my baby right now. And I was scared, when I called Jesus about making the choice, I was shaking. And sometimes when you're a mother and when you're going through these things, sometimes just a great conversation, somebody to call and say, hey sis, I see that you're over here doing this. This is where I'm trying to go. And then she broke it down for me and she helped me to see, right? There's a spiral. It's the spiral of life, right? It's my favorite thing, but it doesn't always feel so good. It goes round and round, right? It always will. You create it just like I do. But if we want something to change, we must dare to be the change we wish to see in that thing. And so if something is spiraling into your life, if you're fighting with your kids all the time, if you're triggered about this all the time, if you're triggered about that all the time, you have to be the one to dare to change. Thank you, I love you. Thank you, I love you too. Hey, love. Yes. What we're doing by working on our feelings is we're making it so we can have sustainable vision. Like a vision that can sustain, right? So a lot of us will have these visions, we'll get in our feelings, and then those visions will go away. But once you start to process your internal sadness. So what Jesus was doing last night was processing internal sadness. The internal sadness of not being the mother that her heart wanted to be, about letting the outside influences affect her in her home. School shit is scary. Such a huge change to discharge from the education system. Peaceful process to come through. It is scary. It is scary. It is scary. And it's like, man, it's big. It's big, but I have to tell you, Jesus, that, me and True are in here really loving our lives, and we're learning, and we're flowing, and we have peaceful lives, and we don't really bring that outside energy into our home. We don't bring that fear that's going on in the school systems into our home. So there are a lot of pluses. As a mom, I was thinking, like, can I teach them? Like, they can teach them. Is she going to have enough friends? Like, I was like thinking like all these crazy things. And now that we're like into the school year, like we are, and I see the other kids and what they're going through and my home and my process, I am so thankful for that talk with you. Like, I swear, I think about you like every day. Every time it comes up, I'm like, oh, it's so great to, my intuition was like, talk to Jesus. I was like, I don't know. She might not want to talk to me about this. This is kind of crazy. She was so receptive. If you don't trust yourself and you don't trust your intuition, work on your feelings, work on your root. Yeah, sustainable visions. Sustainable visions, because we create with our third eye, with our mind's eye, right? And so that's why your visions are getting messed up, because you're not in tune with your feelings. So to create sustainable visions, you want to tune into your feelings. I love you. I love us. I do too, girl. We don't allow love when we have internal sadness in any way. When we have internal sadness, we don't allow love in our money. We don't allow love in our homes. We don't allow love in our lives. We don't even allow conversations that are safe. Thank you for your love for me and wisdom. I love you always. And we have to learn how to process this internal sadness. Now, processing this internal sadness is not the norm. Not at all. Like, nobody is used to processing internal sadness. Our ancestors are not used to processing internal sadness. Our kids are bosses at processing internal sadness, but if you don't know how to process your own internal sadness, you really don't even know what your kids are doing. We speak from our power. So I talk about the relationships in the energy body, right? And so I talk about the sacral chakra is directly related with the third eye, right? And so the throat chakra is directly related to the solar plexus chakra. And so what that means is we speak from our power. And so whether we're speaking the things we want, or we're speaking the things that triggered us, or we're speaking the things that we don't want, that's why we're creating that, because we're speaking from our power. We feel our visions to life, right? And so whenever you are having your vision, if you feel like you can't do it, then that's what's going to happen to your vision. And we do this all by grounding in and thinking up, right? And so the energy body is tricky, but not really. But sadness is coming up to get love down. So if you have sadness that comes up, if you get triggered in sadness, if sadness comes up, just like what Jesus did last night, sadness is coming up to get loved down. That wasn't for anything except for her to be able to release that out of her, connect with who knows how many women felt that into their fucking cells last night, right? And now they're going to take that and they're going to love that down. And she was an example. And so her child came in there. So all these women hear her story and relate, right? They're like, oh my God, I feel that so much. I've been so mean to my kids. I've been so wrong to my kids. Whether they said it or not, you have a lot of people sitting in the back watching, right? And so you have a lot of people sitting in the back watching. And then her son comes in and she shows the mothers, you don't have to get it all right. Just be vulnerable with your kids. Just talk and say. And so she was vulnerable about her feelings. She was vulnerable about her talking to her son. And through that process, probably taught hundreds of women something majorly huge last night. I don't know what I said, but I was like, this is like the message. This is the message of this century, because that's exactly where I've been for like the past 6 weeks, is in this womb space, this mother space. Our wombs have been hurt so bad. Mothers have been hurt so bad. They're just trying to do what they think that they're supposed to do, and it fucking hurts so bad. And they're triggered, and so then that triggers off, and then they hurt their kids, and then they're sad because they hurt their kids, and they never wanted to hurt their kids. That's one thing I'm good at, is being vulnerable with my kids. That's dope. That's dope. And I've been working on it too. I've been getting vulnerable with True, but, I still do have my stuff in me. I still do have, the times where I'll trip, but I love it because, me and True, she's young, she's 5. And so, she'll look right at me and be like, Mom, you're being mean. And I'm like, fuck, sorry. I was frustrated about something stupid. I'm sorry. If you're here with me, you're ambitious. You're adventurous. You're inspired. You're involved. You know self-worth. You know self-love, right? If you're here with me, you know those things. I may not always do it right, but I make sure I tell them we're learning together. Yeah, there is no right way. There is no right way. There is no right way. It's just talking to them, giving them love. I thought I saw an orb go by. Baby, my best friend's been hanging around here like a champ. So, what do you imagine for your life, right? What do you imagine for your life? What do you want for your life? And it could be simple. I say start simple, I want peace in my home. I want, my family all together. I want good food. I want good people around me, right? But if you're imagining what you want and something's coming up that's saying that you can't have that, go there and nurture that. That's what you need to do. You build your mansion. Your life is your mansion. And you can always change it. There's all kind of different rooms. You can change them. You can make it smaller. You can make it bigger. And changing sometimes for the best for us, we have to let go of other people and their visions. Sometimes we'll have another person and their visions no longer support either one of you. So like when you're changing and expanding and wanting to do these different things, sometimes you have to let go of different people to be able to live. And that's change, and that's hard. I can't get this message to open up. Some of us single mothers have traumas from other creator of our children not stepping up or continue to stay stuck in the loop that we are changing. Yes, but the only person that we can change is ourselves. So, and that's really the place that I've been lately. The single mom thing has been coming up for me deep. I come from a long line of single moms, trauma and the anger and the pain and the hurt, right? And it's not our place to say how someone's going to step up, or continue to stay stuck. And either way, we got to keep it moving for our kids. And so you have to feel into all of that. You can't bypass that, right? But we can't change anybody else. We can't change what the other person's doing. We can only change us. You can't change that other thing. And yes, there's a giant lesson between you and that person in the womb space and keeping it moving, right? But we can't change anybody but our own selves. And so, we had trauma before the creator, the other half of the creator of our children. All right. And so, we attract that of what we vibrate. So our trauma attracted their trauma. This thing with the mother is coming up big time. It's huge. I know me as a single mom, I have a really hard time even asking for help or even like saying that I need help or like, hey, like I'm a little bit nervous about this. Can you love on me a little bit for this? Like, I don't even say that kind of stuff. And so I could say all day that it's like the baby dad, right? But it's me. I can say all day that it's this and that and the other, but it's me. It's me. And so like, even if you can't like trust them, do you have friends? Do you have family? All those things. Guys, this is super, super, super deep. And this is definitely what's changing. Are you different and unique, or are you just trying to blend in? Because that's what's going on in a lot of these spaces for the moms. Mothers are different and unique in what they want to do with their kids and what they feel that their kids need. But then what you find a lot of times is just like the blending in and the trying to just make it as easy as I can. And I don't want to stick out and I don't want to cause any waves. And so a lot of times single moms, they go through a lot of things to raise their babies, right? But they don't understand that it's all inside of them. And that once they clear out that trauma and those things all inside of them, then the obstacles that you have to jump over and the things that seem like they're so hard, they get easier. That's why I promote this stuff. I love the moms. I love the womb spaces. I'm never here to judge a mom, tell a mom what to do out here, what's right and what's wrong. You can't do that, right? But we can talk about the times where, if you're just tripping on your kids, man. Because if you're tripping on your kids and that's coming from hurt, and then those kids are taking that, and it's okay. But like, you have to do something about it if you see it and you see that it hurts them, right? I knew my battery wasn't going to keep popping. This is the year for the mother, even though I'm not one right now. The mother energy is coming up for the collective. I can feel it. Yeah, it's big. It's big. And, moms are going through a lot. And a lot of us moms have taken huge hits on the womb, and we're carrying a lot of pain and we're carrying a lot of trauma and we don't really know what to do with it. And, it's affecting us. It doesn't just affect you and your kids. It affects all around. It affects so many things. Your womb is your creative power. You have the creative power to live out all of your heart's desires, right? But in this womb space, if it's been hurt so much, you're having a hard time creating your life. And it's not outside of you. We can't blame the dads. We can't blame the ancestors. We can't blame the people around us. We have to take responsibility. I am not doing this right. I need to take responsibility. I need to do this. I need to get better at this, right? By daring to change, that's that you must take the center stage of your life. You must put you at the center. And so what happens a lot of times with a lot of moms is they have so much internal work that they need to do, but they just keep running on a half a tank or whatever you call it, right? And they're doing this and fixing dinner and doing this and doing that and doing that and doing that and doing that. And so they're running out. You must go into yourself. If it's you that's tripping on your kids, if it's you that's having a hard time, you must take center stage in your life and your kids will be okay. Trust me. If you've been tripping for a really long time, your kids would really like you to just take a break and go inside of yourself so you can come out a little bit different and they're going to be okay. They're resilient. Dare to break conventional boundaries. And so, guys, I don't raise my child the way that people think I should. I don't follow all the things that people think I should be doing. I raised my child by what I feel like inside of me. And that's different than what most people are used to. Mothers are used to fitting this mold, doing this certain thing, right? So I do radical unschooling. That's totally different than what a lot of people are doing. I had to really, really reach out for support in radical unschooling because it's not something that is very common in my area, right? And so it's where you don't run off the school curriculum, you just teach your kids how you want to teach your kids. Yes, kids are so resilient. They really are. And they really, really, really do want you to take the time to work on yourself, So if you could ignore them, I would much rather you ignore them for a little bit than trip and work on yourself and then bring that back together. And then I'm telling you, man, they'll be so glad that you healed. I raised mine so out of people. Yeah, but that's the thing. These government systems got so involved with all this stuff. And when I talk about the programs, school is one of the programs. How you raise your kids is one of the programs. When we raise our children, we do keep it moving and continue changing, learning, and growing for ourselves and our children. However, we are changing generational patterns. That's from both sides of their DNA. No blame. I take responsibility. I also am holding the fathers accountable as well. It's that time. We are not meant to do this alone. Our love is endless. That even goes into holding fathers accountable as well. Yeah, but just don't hold somebody accountable so hard that you don't live, right? And so, fathers do need to be accountable, but we can't make them be accountable. So, if the father or your child and the shit ain't right, you can't just go drop your kid off. I wish it worked like that, but it doesn't. we have to take responsibility for our children. And so I get it, but whenever they're breaking their stuff on their side, they're doing it. Like, you can't do the work in his DNA. He has to do the work in his DNA. You can only do what you can do. And you can only teach them, hey, listen, this is what it is, right? You are teaching your kid about their soul and not the untaught the soul. Keep teaching. Yeah. As you're speaking, my daughter is downstairs speaking the violet fire degree. Yes, we are different. Yeah. No, it absolutely doesn't. I don't know what you mean about it. Absolutely doesn't. But we can't make anyone be responsible. If it worked like that, I did a lot of social work and I tried to make both mothers and fathers be responsible for their kids, and it just doesn't work that way. You have to take the responsibility and just hope that they catch up. We cannot just, throw these kids out and just hope that they get it. Jesus was saying something last night about, kids needing to stay with us until they're in their 30s. And I totally agree. But, for some reason, our programming has been like, them kids turn 18, just throw them the fuck out in the streets, let them fucking, you're old enough, get it yourself. But, that's the same people that, like, they're rough with their 5-year-olds. They're rough, you gotta love on your babies, man. You gotta talk to your babies. Hello, love. You gotta talk to them. My daughter came home from her dad's house and told me that her dad doesn't like me. And I was like, did he say that? And she's like, no, I could just see it in his face, Mom. And then he even, like, tried to, like, tell the reasons, like, why he did like me. And she was like, no, Dad, I can see it in your face. You don't like my mom. And, me and her dad don't really talk that much. And, I just kind of stay in my own lane, and I just take responsibility for my daughter, and I just do what I'm supposed to do. And that's not my responsibility. And I'm here. Like, if he ever wants to talk to me about it, I'm definitely here. I used to try to talk and write letters and say all kind of things, but it was fucking me up. And so, you can't make someone be responsible for their kids. No, we teach them, we guide them, we talk to them, we protect them, we love them, with and without words. Yeah, we do. And, I've prayed on my situation it's almost been 6 years straight, like every day for 6 years. And sometimes even that doesn't change. I mean, yeah, little things are changing, but I swear they're only changing because I've been doing inner child work. I swear. Like, as I do inner child work, the dynamics with my co-parenting is really changing. And so that's why I really press that for parents. Like, if you are raising your kids and your same traumas are coming up, go in and do some inner child work, man, because that'll really change the dynamics. And it's not in a way like we can't change other people, we can only change ourselves, and then the way other people come to us is different. 30 and under, just too young, have not been on the planet long enough. We have not either. We lose time giving them away 5 days a week. Yes. Yeah, and I'm 37, and I swear, man, like, I still need help sometimes. Absolutely pray without ceasing. Yeah, but, like, prayer doesn't do it without action. Like, you have to take the action inside yourself. Like, you can't just pray. I seriously prayed every single day for 5.5 years or more for this dynamic to change with me and my baby dad, for him to understand, for him to come in, for him to, know whenever I needed help. I mean, like, I was fucking specific as fuck. Please see me, right? It didn't work. And then as soon as I started going in, and as soon as I started healing my inner child, and as soon as I started healing my womb, then he would say something to me, and I would go into my womb, and I would feel that out, and then I would make my decision. And then, we got to the place where for the first time ever, my baby went and just spent 5 weeks at his house. And, that was a little hard because for her, it was traumatic. And I knew it was traumatic. She never left me for longer than just like a couple days. And I knew 5 weeks would be really bad. And he is a man and he has things going on in his life. And he was like, well, that's what we have time for. That's what we're doing. And, she sat there on the phone with me and was like, Mom, did you leave me here because I'm bad? Are you never going to come back and pick me up? And so those were times we had to have conversations and just say, no, I didn't leave you there because you're bad. You need to build a relationship with your dad. My hate for men stems out into my baby. And this is what this is, right? And so, she doesn't know how to get close with men because neither do I. And so, it's even with her dad. And so I'm her mom. So I need to be the one promoting that. And now that we are kind of in this place where things are a little bit different, I need to promote that she can trust her dad. I need to promote that it's okay, that he does love her. He just loves her different. I got her a Barbie doll and it's a man and she won't even open it up. And so this hate for men, it keeps on regenerating. And so I know that there are a lot of mothers out here that are trying to get their kids to hate their dad. And that sucks. Don't do that. Work on you. I just realized this recently. I was so worried about my children were going to have to carry all my family's trauma. Fuck that. I'm breaking the cycle. I'm healing for my children so they can be clear of the debt. Healing is so important. Yeah, I'm telling you. And I swear, man, anybody who has ever touched your womb, when you heal, they heal too. It's super crazy. It's super crazy how all this works. It's super crazy how we don't even realize that we give our kids our trauma until we hear them say certain things. And then it's super crazy that, as we heal ourselves, we heal other people. And it's just really these conversations that need to come up about, I'm not perfect. Everybody watches this stuff and follows me and works with me. And they think that I have this perfect life, but I still have stuff I'm working out. I still have things that are super real, and yes, I am working on them, right? But they're still very active. Absolutely, faith and prayer without action is nothing. Hope is where we help each other. Yeah, you are healing that, Sarah. So beautiful. Yeah, I am healing it. And it's hard, I never had a dad. So for me, it's so easy to just ignore him he doesn't exist, right? But he won't let me ignore him. He didn't have a dad either. And so being a dad to him is a very big thing. And so, same energy, different thing. And so a lot of passion about being a parent is involved on both ends. And so a lot of times I can be it doesn't always feel so smooth. I've been co-parenting with a man for 10 years. Hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. My whole thing is yeah, it is. We're working this a little bit easier. Good morning, love. No, that's toxic, putting that on them. Let them make their own decision on it. I feel this way about my grandparents, and I have to remind myself. James has a similar dynamic with his parents. We're all doing the best we can. We can't force people on each other. If it's just not there, we have to go our own pace. Yeah, and we're clearing out trauma. We're clearing out so much trauma in the man and the woman, and it's real. It's real. It's real. It's real. And either you're using your power for to tear things down, or you're using your power to try to build it up. And so, I thought that I was using my power to build it up, but really I was using it to tear it down, because I had that underlying trauma, where now when I'm working on that underlying trauma, now I'm actually using the power to build it up. And it's really, really crazy because like nothing really changed between us. It's just I changed in my energy, and so now our conversations are better. I've done raised a 30-year-old by myself. It's very real. My daughter's dad died when she was 3. I'm working on building that foundation for her to not feel that emptiness. I have to go inside now at 6 and know that she can connect with him. Daddy is her angel. Yes, I love you, girl. And, you know, I also I have children in my life that are very important to me that have lost their dad and mom. And so, yeah, that is hard. And that is something that needs to be worked on. And that is something that's triggering these feelings inside of us and all of this stuff. I'm thankful that this work I've been doing together has brought some of my family back together again. Something I prayed about my whole life and I've never thought it would actually happen did. Thank you for these messages and this work you do, Sarah. I love you. And that is what happens. Like, things, you know, I every day I write in my journal, thank you for the you know, and it's that kind of stuff, like unexpected conversations, connections, communications, healing, you know, when things are changing, you know, I'm here to help heal. I'm here to help heal the planet from these things that we're talking about. And I know that, and it's weird and it's awkward and it's crazy. And like, who has the hardest time with it sometimes, like, is my family, you know what I mean? But like, this whole thing, you know, me and my baby dad, like, not getting along after we had been friends for fucking 15 years hurt my feelings. Like, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, no matter how many people online would tell me, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, like, I wasn't getting that from him. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, you know me more than anybody. Like, what is this? But, you know, you have to know that a lot of that was my energy. Like, I'm not just coming and saying like, hey, we didn't get along because of him, right? No, I have to take responsibility and say, I was mean. I was mean. I was cold. I was sharp. I was fucking like not like I used to be. I had like my sword out. Like, I'll fuck you up in the name of love. Hey, Cuddy. I lost my dad at 4. It's hard, but yes, he's one of my biggest supporters and my angels. Big hugs to you and your daughter. Yeah, so much love, man. So much love. And trust me, you know, I learned the best things from the people that are no longer here. I know that. You know, when they're no longer here, they know unconditional love. And so I know it's really, really hard. You know, my niece struggles with it. My other niece, I have a niece that doesn't have a mom, and I have a niece that doesn't have a dad. And, you know, either way, it's really fucking hard. My oldest would tell me the same. Amen. Call on the angels, guys, you know, and that's why this is the space where I just love Metatron, because like we're spiritual beings in human form, right? And like, he knows, Archangel Metatron knows that. Archangel Metatron is Enoch in a human, and then Archangel Metatron in a spirit, right? And so he knows what we're trying to do. He knows the things that we're trying to heal. He knows the patterns that we're trying to heal. I struggle with not having my dad. I love you, girl. I know. And that, you know, and people think that you only, you know, need your parents whenever you're little. You know, Cuddy is my same age and she lost her dad, and it is hard, I know, you know. And then me, you know, I've been really like cold in that whole department because I've never had my dad. And so I'm like, you'll be fine. I've been fine my whole life. But like, when you have that bond and you build that bond, then you lose that bond, then that fucking hurts. Good stuff here. I love these talks. Hugs tight. I love your hugs. Hugs and love. Hugs and love. So much love to all you guys, man. This shit is fucking hard. we're learning our power and we're learning to be generous with it. But at the same time, we have to learn how to trust ourselves. We have to learn how to sit with ourselves. We have to learn how to feel ourselves. We have to learn how to connect with ourselves, I still miss my dad 27 years later. I'm at a place where I'm thankful. I'm 37 and I'm just building a relationship with my dad, and I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that it's happening for me, and it's a little bit, and as I let down the guard inside of me, and then a little bit comes through a little bit more, And so for all the dads out there, if you haven't seen your kids in a long time, I'm 37 and just bonding with my dad right now, and I'm so thankful. So please don't think that you messed up so bad that you don't have time, because I am so thankful at 37 to be able to just be like, hey dad, I love you. Hey dad, this is going on in my life. And I wish I could for my husband, but I don't get that feeling from no one and nothing. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Because I think I was trying to get that from the men in my life. I think the men that I went after, I was trying to get that dad thing, because it was older men and all this stuff. Running my feet and just a touch of, yeah. Well, and that's the kind of stuff, Cuddy is one of my really best friends. And so that's the stuff that helps me to feel safe to send True with her dad, because that kind of relationship and bond I never had. And so when she would say she needs this bond with her dad, and it's not going to be about you, and it's, and all these things. And it's I want True to feel like that about her dad. I want her to have that connection. Grateful for you and your dad connecting. Oh, me too. And it's wild. It's wild. It's something that I thought that I would never have. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful he's here. I'm so thankful we can connect. I'm crazy, so I'm sure that part of him is what the heck? But before I ever found out that I was molested as a child, I found out that his mother was molested as a child. So yes, both sides of the DNA are very important. But we can't worry about what we can't worry about right now. And so when those things are supposed to come in, then they come in. I remember working at the airport and finding out that I had an aunt that was given up for adoption, and she was given up for adoption because my grandmother was raped. I mean, guys, this stuff is fucking huge. And I remember my dad being so mad, why didn't anybody ever tell me this happened? And I'm like, oh, Dad, a lot of people don't talk about this stuff, And he's like, no, I'm so mad. Why didn't nobody tell me? You're telling me this. And I'm like, well, because I got with the girls and we sat down and we talked. And so, that's what we do. We carry generational trauma. So my grandma's not even here right now. I'm so thankful for my aunt, and we are in communication every day. But my grandmother was hurt, and she had kids from that hurt. And that doesn't mean her kids are doomed to a life of nothing. It just means we all have to go in and work on that. Both a mother and father's bond are what helps balance our children. Yeah, it helps to balance out the masculine and feminine in them. Absolutely. My dad, Noah, the real Noah of Atlantis, gone over a year now. I'm grateful he has 2 forms. In the crib with me, he was all I knew. He raised me by himself. Deep shit. I love you, girl. I love you. All of you who lost your dads, man. Fuck. That's so crazy to me. It's just, it's definitely, they're there. They're there. They're with you guys. They're super proud of you for what you're doing. And I know it's hard. I know it's got to be so hard. I lost my grandfather a long time ago. He was pretty much like the only dad I knew. And I have a stepdad, and hearing this kind of stuff, like, I would be super sad if I lost him or anybody. It's hard to know why this stuff happens the way it does, and thank God that there are dads out here that are doing these things with their little girls and being this way. That makes my heart feel good, that it's not just everybody. I don't know. There's so much hurt. And bless him for raising you by himself, too, because that's hard. My point about DNA is to be able to see the patterns and help change them toxic patterns for our children. Yeah. Definitely. Yet Noah was my dad 5 times in a past life in another world, and he will be me and Jalen said in the 7th golden age. Atlantis will be back on the surface. I'm excited as fuck. I love you, girl. I love you, girl. I love you, girl. And that is how you see the patterns, love. How you see the DNA is through the patterns. And because we attract that of what we vibrate, I think that's the coolest part. If you don't know the other half, a lot of us don't know the other half, either the mom or the dad, right? And so when you're trying to figure out the DNA on the other half, a lot of times you think you don't know, but a lot of times, because we attract the vibrations that we vibrate, the DNA on the other half is very similar. There's a lot of similarities. And then as you start to clear and work out your stuff in your DNA, I believe, I don't know, there are a lot of people right now that I work with that don't know any of their parents, and they find things in their DNA. And so I don't know. I love the DNA. I love the DNA comments. I just want you to know that you don't have to make someone be there to understand their DNA. That's all. That's all I'm saying. If the dad isn't there and you don't know the DNA, you're okay. I didn't have my dad. I didn't know that DNA, and I'm still okay. Yeah. She hit that about the DNA. And it's the patterns. It's the toxic patterns. So if you want to know, hi, Chess. If you want to know, it's the toxicity that's coming up in the DNA, that's what's showing out, man. It's showing out in our kids, it's showing out, you know who you were with, it's funny because we talk a lot more now. My mom didn't really say very much about my dad at all. But she was a woman and she didn't stay with him. And so, she felt a lot of shame around that and things like that. Right. And it's funny because in meeting his aunts and stuff like that, I'm learning that I'm very much like my grandmother and I look very much like him. And so, I was raised by Irish, Welsh people, right? And here I'm Cherokee Indian, and I didn't know anything about that, but that shows out in your life, as you're healing your life and you're doing your stuff, the herbs and stuff that I do. This is what my grandma used to do. But then at the same time, the sexual assault is something that I also carried, right? And so, by finding that inside of me, then I don't know, it's when you go inside your sacral chakra, right? Then that's where you connect with the ancestors and everything, right? And so a lot of people just don't know the the poison that's in them, right? And so you have to find it in you and release it. And so you release that. I don't know if that makes sense. We're learning to align with ourselves and our DNA. Genetics, I have found, are a huge factor. Autism, health issues, ADHD, cancer, genetics, all are very huge and help understand our children, our family trees. Yeah, see, but I don't go off genetics because I never knew my genetics. So I learned vibration, the vibrations of us. And so I don't know. I'm not real big on genetics because, like I said, I'm 37 and just learned about the other half of me. And so I love you, girl. And I'm not ever saying that your way is wrong, but I had to learn it all as vibration and frequency and the frequencies that were within me, because we carry the frequencies from our mom and from our dad. And I didn't know anything about him at all, like nothing. And so, I'd go to the doctors and they would say like this and that and the other. And like the only piece I had was like my mom's piece. And then here, like this whole other side of me was him. And so the vibrations help me. So if you don't know the genetics, if you know the genetics, go ahead. But it's all vibration to me. Atlantis, as we are. We got a couple mermaids up on here today. It makes sense. Been feeling this release. The vibrations led me to the genetic testing. Yeah, I get it. And I'm not really into genetic testing because I do vibrations. I love you. You can do it however you want it. Oh my God, I'm healing that autism. And Jay's ass too with these seizures. Sick of this shit. Why he interrupted the video last night. Writing autism too. Yeah, and a lot of the autism is the so we're in a vibration of anger, and we grow these babies in us in the vibration of anger. And so here you got this little baby and they have all that inside of them and they don't know how to get it out. And so we have to release the anger from the nervous system to get these things out. Autism is vibration to me, stuck vibration. Cancer is vibration, stuck vibration. I knew nothing. I was adopted twice. Wow, bless your heart. I don't know nothing of my father. Hugs, it is vibration. I love you. I talked to my grams about how she got through what she did. Cancer, abuse, divorce, widowed multiple times, good energy, and a strong mindset. And fair gets us through. Yeah, my grandma's been through a lot too, for sure. Can connect with his spirit form. Seeing an insight of him. Truth, you better tell it. Literally sitting here feeling this pull to reach out to my dad's family and just having them tell me everything they knew and thought about my dad. Just wanted to know him more, and also trying to work with through my own stuff so that I can hear